Hello, and welcome back to the Reactivist podcast. I'm Marlaina Schiavo. Trump is wasting no time in picking his cabinet members, and his latest announcement that just came out involves Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. Take a listen.
President Trump has just announced Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will lead the Department of Government Efficiency. That's DOGE.
Trump put out a written statement explaining his decision. He said, I am pleased to announce that the great Elon Musk, working in conjunction with American patriot Vivek Ramaswamy, will lead the Department of Government Efficiency, that's the DOGE. And it went on to say, it will become potentially the Manhattan Project of our time. Republican politicians have dreamed about the objectives of DOGE for a very long time. The Department of Government Efficiency will provide advice and guidance from outside the government and will partner with the White House and Office of Management and Budget to drive large-scale structural reform and create an entrepreneurial approach to government never seen before. Regardless of how you feel about Vivek Ramaswamy or Elon Musk, I think it would be hard for anyone not to see this as kind of a positive thing. They're very successful individuals. And the fact is they are entrepreneurs. And running America is like running a business. So why not bring the best of the best in? Vivek Ramaswamy comes from the finance world. Even before all of this happened, I thought Vivek was going to be part of the Department of Treasury, hands down. Not that this is going to happen, but Elon Musk could probably solve the national debt with his own checking account. But the Democrats have a lot to say about this. I'm sure this goes into the category of some basket of deplorables to pull from, the 2016 election, which was part of Hillary Clinton's when they go low, we go high, by calling them deplorables. Now, don't get your panties in a bunch. I voted for Hillary Clinton back in 2016, but it's hard sometimes when you can clearly see the hypocrisy and not call it out, right? I mean, yes, we know Donald Trump calls people names, and he will continue to do so, I'm sure. But calling people deplorables is also name calling. And I don't know how that's going high when people go low. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's in the past. But is it? And I'd like to note one other thing. I remember back in the day when Trump was in office, there was a lot of talk about him being the first president who didn't have a dog. I don't know why that was super important, but now he's already made the change. He's got the DOGE. He literally got himself a doggy. Oh, yeah. I said that. I did. I said it. And I'd say it again. I don't have a problem with that acronym or what it stands for. I just think there could be something a little bit more interesting when it comes to Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, right? So they're both sort of techie science guys, finance. They're both a little nutty, to say the least. So I think maybe pull from that. Science, finance. Can we call them the mad scientists? Oh, God, it gets worse. I know. Mad scientists. I like that. Even if you don't. But speaking of Democrats who can't handle anything having to do with Donald Trump or the Republicans, AOC is flummoxed, asking people who voted for both Donald Trump and for her to come forward and tell her why. Take a listen.
If you voted for Donald Trump and me, or if you voted for Donald Trump and voted Democratic down ballot, I would really love to hear from you. This is not a place of judgment. I'm not going to put your stuff on blast or anything like that or dunk on it. That's genuinely not the intent here. I actually want to learn from you. I want to hear what you were thinking, and I just want to hear from you.
Now she says, I'm not going to put you on blast. And then she posts the response all over social media. Now, she didn't actually include the names of these people, but she did, in fact, publish what they said. Let's have a look. One person said, it's real simple. Trump and you care for the working class. Another person said, wanted change, so I went with Trump and blue for the rest of the ballot to put some brakes. Okay. Voted Trump, but like you and Bernie, I don't trust either party establishment politicians. Bizarro. I feel like Trump and you are both real. Keeping it real. Trump is going to get us the money and lets men have a voice. You're brilliant and have amazing passion. Ooh, these reasons are rough. I don't know. Maybe she should have just let sleeping dogs lie. Action and progress, stagnation and excuses. Both of you push boundaries and force growth. But they force it in opposite directions, so I'm not entirely sure where that vote will get anybody. Yes, they're both outsiders. They both push boundaries, to say the least. But AOC and people like AOC who are super far left don't budge. They don't want to hear anybody else's opinion. They just want to be heard. And therein lies so much of the problem in politics in general, but mainly with the extremists. For some reason, they're the loudest voice. And you can't get anywhere with them unless you're going exactly in their direction. You know, I went and I saw this show on Broadway it was actually at Lincoln Center with, it was supposed to be Nancy Pelosi and AOC. It was called NA. I don't think it's actually running anymore, but it showed sort of the infighting between the older Democratic Party and the sort of new age of the Democratic Party. And there's a huge gap in between those two spaces. And, you know, the Nancy Pelosi's of the world sort of embodied change at a certain pace. And the AOCs want to just have everything happen all at once, like a tidal wave, which is not how change occurs. Change occurs over time, and you have to have patience. Whether or not you want to have patience is a whole other issue, and I get it. But this new generation of politicians, these extremists, these entitled, millennials and the Gen Zers, they have such a different view of the world. They are so self-righteous and so entitled. There is so much lost on them because their whole world doesn't require patience because of technology, right? They don't have to listen and think. They just have to swipe, go on to the next thing, because everybody has this technology-induced ADD, right? And that's the generation that's coming up. And then because everyone has the accessibility, everyone has a voice, which is good and bad, right? Social media is oversaturated with people who think they know what they're talking about, and they're influencing people who don't know anything. And so there's a lot of confusion, and there is a lot of misinformation that gets circulated. It's tough. It's going to be a tough road ahead. And it's so hard because it's so hard to trust what you see online or what you hear, even with things like Siri. Like, you can get information in an instant. All you have to do is ask Siri. I actually tested Siri one day. I asked, who is Marjorie Taylor Greene? And then I asked, who is AOC? And the answers, I think, you'll find very interesting. Siri, who is AOC?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, also known by her initials AOC, is an American politician and activist serving since 2019 as the U.S. Representative for New York's 14th Congressional District.
Siri, who is Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, sometimes referred to by her initials MTG, is an American far-right politician, businesswoman, and conspiracy theorist who has been the U.S. Representative for Georgia's 14th Congressional District since 2021.
Explain that to me. Why is it that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a far-right conservative? She's also a conspiracy theorist. And to be clear, I'm not debating whether or not she's a far-right conservative or a conspiracy theorist. But if you're going to go that route, why aren't we saying that AOC is a far-left liberal? Why aren't we using the word woke to describe her? Why aren't we calling her an extremist? Why is it just Marjorie Taylor Greene? Now, I can't blame the Democrats for this description, obviously, but this is the type of stuff that is available for people who are of a younger generation who are just coming up through life, and this is the type of information that's available to them with the push of a button and a simple question. And it's skewed. It's skewed. That is an opinion, right? It's an opinion. So why can't we describe people on the left and the right for specifically what they do? Why isn't it just one's a Republican, one's a Democrat, this one represents the 14th District of New York, that one represents the 14th District of Georgia? Why are we adding other descriptions to influence one side or the other? Okay, so this is what plagues me about the next generation coming up through politics. It becomes less about politics and more about opinions. Opinions aren't facts. Opinions are not facts. So chew on that. And just one more note on how the Democrats are responding to the election of Donald Trump. I came across a meme on social media that said the following: Black Monday, January 20th, 2025. All women, LGBTQ+, BIPOC immigrants, we wear black to mourn the loss of life that is coming. We wear black for the loss of our rights. We do not shop. We do not go to work. We do not send our kids to school. We do not buy gas the day before, the day of, or the day after. We do not contribute. We protest in our cities and towns as we are attending a funeral! ! Hey, freedom of speech. I'm all about it. But again, this is the kind of garbage that you find on social media and is accessible to millions of people. And why are we politicizing our children? You're not going to send them to school on the day of the inauguration because we're mourning the person who won? Is that the type of stuff we want to teach the next generation? My answer is absolutely not. I'm all about teaching kids about a belief system, but not sending them to school. Skip a day of education to educate them on what? Your perception of January 20th being doomsday. How is that productive? How is that pushing forward and trying to figure out a productive way to influence politics that you feel are not in your favor or are unfair in some capacity? That is not doing anything but teaching the next generation to hate, which is, to me, the opposite of what a liberal should be promoting. They're the party of tolerance, but clearly they're not very tolerant. Not anymore. And don't put gas in your car the day before, the day of, or the day after because you don't want to contribute to what? The economy? You're going to take it out on the economy? Okay. And by the way, if you're that quote unquote liberal, why are you even driving a car that takes gasoline? Shouldn't you be driving an electric vehicle? I'm just saying. And in other news, Donald Trump taps Kristi Noem to lead Department of Homeland Security. The department will be crucial in carrying out Trump's central campaign promise to close the southern border and fix illegal immigration. Donald, what are you doing? I don't know if you've been paying attention. I mentioned this before on the podcast, but it's worth mentioning again. Kristi Noem shot her own dog. So you might want to be mindful of that because now you, as we established earlier in the podcast, have a doggy. I can't help myself.